What is up, guys? Ninja Nick back with another tournament from the local area here. So this is Flipside Gaming in Clifton Park, New York. We have, looks like Chris Saikala here on the left versus Xavier Stevens on the right. Looks like Chris is playing the Lost Box deck and Savi is on Lugia. So, I got a little famous locally myself for playing Rapid Strike at NAIC, and then of course it won the tournament. Hit much better matchups than I did, and also played a lot better than me as well, because I did throw a couple of rounds. So going into this tournament, this league challenge here, I was telling myself, you know, probably somebody is going to bring Lugia, and it's probably going to be around 8 people or less. There was only 6 people. So I said, let me bring a backup deck, and I brought Lost Box. And as soon as I walk in, Savi here on the right, he says, yo, Nick, you got any Wattrel? I haven't pulled any from all of my Paldea Evolved packs. I'd love to play United Wings, which of course is a very good matchup for Rapid Strike. And I said, no, sorry, Savi, I don't have any. He's like, oh, darn, I'm going to have to play Lugia then. So then I pulled Lost Box out of my backpack. So anyway, Chris here, he starts with the Comfey, and he puts the Battle VIP pass down to get 2 Pokemon out of his deck here. So he is going to get a Comfey and a Dragonite V. I think the Dragonite V kind of telegraphs that he has a Forest Sealstone in his hand to get maybe a Battle VIP pass to get a full bench here, or maybe he'll just save it to get a Chorus's Experiment the next turn. Wouldn't be too bad. Looks like we do we not have or maybe, oh, we've used the Greninja already. That's why he tapped it. And then we have the Comfey's Flower Selecting. We're going to have to choose one of these 2 cards to put in the Lost Zone. I think putting the Water Energy is fine there. You usually play 4 Water Energy. You only need 2 to use Greninja's attack or to use Dragonite's attack. So as long as you are aware of where your 3 remaining energy are at all times, and don't Lost Zone more than 1 more of them, it should be fine. We're going to use the second Comfey we've switched into here. We're going to get rid of the Switch Cart to keep the Lost Vacuum. Makes sense since you have the Stadium in hand. You can always Lost Zone the Stadium after you get a use out of it. We're going to also bench the Sableye. Not too bad of a decision because you know Savi isn't going to be knocking that out this turn. So having it down on the bench is fine in case you get Iono'd. Savi is going to use Mesagosa, flips heads. Thank the Lord, because Lugia needs all of the correct flips that it can. So we're going to use Mesagosa to get ourselves any 1 Pokemon from the deck. It looks like we are eyeing up the Luminion. You could always Luminion for the Professor Burnett. Use that to put 2 Archeops in your discard pile. If you already have some Archeops in hand, you could use the Research to discard those and get a fresh hand as well. Looks like we have 3 Archeops in the hand, so I think that's a pretty easy decision to be grabbing the Professor's Research here. So at these league challenges that Flipside Gaming, both of their locations usually do, they do it as a win-a-box. So your final standings after Swiss tell you when... Oh god, 2 Lugia V-Stars also. That's a little bit risky, because you only have 1 left. So he would have likely made sure there's 1 Lugia V-Star left in the deck. So it's still probably fine. You have alternate attackers you can use as well. You still need a Lugia V on the bench, and here comes the Nest Ball. So we got that. So that's perfect. Unlikely Chris is going to be able to knock that out this turn, so 1 on the bench is perfectly fine. I think you can hold the Ultra Balls in your hand and everything, but you do have Capturing Aroma. Maybe you can get a second one down if you flip Tails, and that is exactly what we do now, so we'll find maybe another Lugia here. Although we won't be able to attack with both of them as V-Stars, so you can always just hit with the second attack here. I did, of course, put the camera on the table, so I apologize for the shaking. It is a lot more stable than the camera used to be, but of course the camera, the whole tripod just is shaking since it's literally sitting right next to them on the same table. Not a lot of floor space at this location to be able to put the camera on the floor, unfortunately. So Savi getting a pretty hot start in all honesty there. So Chris is going to use his Forest Seal Stone now. No, he's grabbing a Comfey out of his deck. Oh, with the Mesa he flipped heads for the Mesa Gosa. So he grabbed Comfey. I was gonna say. So that plasma coin he's using might be his V-Star marker. Yep, that is it. So he is going to use the Forest Seal Stone to grab the Chorus's Experiment so he can get a couple more cards in the Lost Zone and build his hand up a little bit more. So here comes Chorus. We're going to look at the top 5, put 2 in the Lost Zone, 3 in our hand. That is a pretty darn easy decision when you get the double Battle VIP pass there. So I'm at the table next to this. And I'm versus Nate, and he is playing Gardevoir like he did the previous time we saw him at the League Cup that was uploaded previous to this. Actually went up a few minutes ago as of time of recording. His match went up from round 1 of the previous tournament. But he was playing Gardevoir, and he's like, I know what you're playing. And I'm like, yep, and I flip over Sableye. Only because I knew Savi was going to be on Lugia today during this game, during this match. This was a few days ago as of recording. So we are at 3, 6, 7 in the Lost Zone. We are able to Mirage Gate now. You could always Mirage Gate to the Greninja and do 90 to both Lugia would not be the worst decision ever. I actually like the idea of that play. You do have a Water Energy in hand as well as a Mirage Gate, so you could set the Greninja up to be able to do that. It does also put those Pokemon in range of the Dragonite being able to attack it, but when they're V-Stars. But you did see that 2 V-Stars were already discarded, so it looks like we might just be going for the attack with the Dragonite now to knock out the now active Lugia V. Because that did essentially get escape roped up, I believe it looked like. So we do bench the next Comfey. We are going to switch cart into our Dragonite. We had the attach for turn as well as the Mirage Gate, so that is fully powered up. We still even have another Mirage Gate in hand. You love to see it. We're considering using the Pokestop. We are going to replace the stadium here and use it, milling 2 item cards and a Chorus. The Chorus is a little sad to lose, but he is playing the Palpad in the deck, so not too big of a deal, but he might have a little bit. Well, he has another one in hand as well, so if his hand's not disrupted, it's going to be perfectly fine, and we'll likely see a way into maybe the Palpad on this next upcoming turn. So we go and we take the 2 prize lead as Lost Box. And the unfortunate thing here is Xavier, he only has the Lugia as a good attacker right now, and that cannot one-shot the Dragonite even if you had all regular special energies, and by that I mean none of them being double turbo reducing your damage output. You still would be 10 short of the knockout. So we might just have to retreat into a Tyranitar this turn to get the knockout. And that's expending a little bit extra resources here. So it looks like we are Ultra Balling away Ultra Ball and the Urn of Vitality, if I can remember the name of the card. Savi, it does look like he is playing with the promo Ultra Balls as well from NAIC. I think he traded for a couple of those, so I don't think they're worth too much, so not too big of a deal. We are going to play the Collapse Stadium as well to get rid of our own Luminion and replace the Stadium, so that is going to force Chris to discard 1 Pokemon. You can definitely safely get rid of a Comfey here, keep the Sableye and the Greninja. So the downside of putting that Sableye down earlier is now you have damage on it, but you're not against something that really does bench damage, so it's fine. Not relevant in this matchup. So we are going to use our first Primal Turbo to get 2 Single Strike energies onto this Tyranitar, and now you can use your second Archeops to put maybe a V-Guard and a gift onto it as well. You should be able to take the knockout with that. You are doing base 240 without even considering the single strike energies, but it looks like we are valuing the double turbo energy over it. I think that we want to put all of our regular energies to the Lugia so that we can hit 220. Maybe just in case we have to go against the Raikou, we can still afford to put one double turbo energy on it. So we are going to retreat here. So Savi playing this perfectly. He is going to get the single strike crush here. Hopefully he does not get rid of too many valuable resources. And it looks like just a gift energy is the only real sad thing there coming off of that. We do get a single strike energy off the prize cards as well. It looks like his hand is only 2 cards. So just the 2 cards he just took off the prizes. So we're going to see another Colress's Experiment coming from Chris here. Another 5 cards. Looked at 2 cards going into the Lost Zone. So yeah, definitely the Battle VIP Pass makes sense. And he's just trying to decide what the last card is. I think he's valuing getting rid of the Switch cart to keep the other cards would make sense. I know one of those is a Psychic Energy you could use with concealed cards or to attach to the Sableye. The Super Rod you want to always keep if you can. Alright, so we're going to get rid of the Psychic Energy. Again, you're playing 3 Psychic Energy, and you only ever really need to attach 1 at a time to a Sableye. So as long as you're Super Rodding the right cards at the right times, you can definitely get that going fine. So we do Super Rod back in the Dragonite as long with a Water and Lightning Energy. So we are going to Nest Ball that Dragonite immediately back out. Since there is no V-Guard energy on the Tyranitar, this Dragonite can get the knockout. So we are going to Mirage Gate back out those 2 energies we just put in. Chris having the absolute god game right now. He's drawing exactly what he needs when he needs it. The only thing he needs is the water energy attached for turn. He already played his Colress, so he will not be able to use Clara this turn. And I don't think there's any water energies in deck, so he might have to find another Super Rod and draw into it, which is going to be a little bit awkward to try to figure out how to do that. So Chris is considering benching the Comfey, decides against it. He does have the Super Rod, so he is going to be able to put back in yet another water energy. 2 water energies, in fact, and maybe the Comfey. I think just the 2 water energy is fine. You're maximizing the odds that you're going to be able to draw into that water energy. And also, you have 2 more Mirage Gates in hand as well, so we are just going to be able to get that straight out of the deck with that. So we are going to put 1 Psychic Energy to the Sableye, 1 Water Energy to the Dragonite, and hopefully we have a Switch cart. We'll be able to heal our own Comfey off in order to switch into the Dragonite and take the knockout. So a little bit of a punish here on Savi for choosing not to put a V-Guard energy on his Tyranitar. Trying to save that for the Lugia that he's most likely going to be forced to attack with. But it's really, I think it's, is it because of that first research? I don't know. But we can still always attack with Yveltal as our next attacker. So I think that you definitely should have gotten the V-Guard energy and a gift. And now you're left with a 2-card dead hand here, so you're relying entirely off of just your Primal Turbos. So yeah, definitely I think it was a mistake from Savi to get the double turbo energy on the last turn. So it looks like we are going to promote the Archeops. We might be trying to find yet another Tyranitar this turn, which you definitely would want that V-Guard energy onto. And top decks the Iono, the perfect card to have here. You can Iono your opponent to 2 cards. But Chris is really just a Sableye and a Greninja away from being able to win the game. So can Chris put together the Greninja is the real question. But I think that he can do enough just chaining Sableyes over the course of a few turns. He definitely has the time if he doesn't put any more Dragonites into play. So Savi, if he gets the one-shot here, will be really great. So gets the tails, so now he can search for the next Tyranitar. He's already moving the energies he wants to the front of his deck. Hopefully he just did not prize the other Tyranitar, and he did. Oh. Well. So knowing that now, I think he should have maybe identified that on his first deck search, so maybe attacking with the Yveltal would have been a little better here, or the Lugia, but Honestly, this is your only play, is to just go for the Tyranitar again. And Lugia does not play any recovery cards, no Super Rod or anything like that. It would be really great if Super Rod was able to get special energy back to your deck, then this deck definitely would be playing it. But no, in Expanded it plays Quad Special Charge, of course. Expanded may be coming back. I guess it's only a thing in Europe right now, thank the Lord, because I would not want to play Expanded. I think right now Lugia is the best deck in Expanded, along with double Dragon Energy. You can just charge double Dragon Energies and double Colorless Energies into play. So you just play 4 double Colorless, 4 double Dragon, like a bunch of Lugias and a bunch of Dragon attackers, like Tina Chomp Tag Team, Garchomp V, and I think Guzzlord Neganatal Tag Team as well, I believe is what I saw from Stefan's post on Twitter. I mean, I definitely would play Lugia in Expanded. You have access to 4 Battle Compressor. Why would you not play Lugia? It seems like it would just be the best deck. So we are going to bench our Radiant Serena to try to heal ourselves off from any Sableye shenanigans that are coming in. So maybe Chris will want to put all 120 to 1 Pokemon. Again, apologize for the shaking. Chris is tapping his fingers, and the table is a little bit wobbly. So we do have Double Turbo, Gift, V-Guard, and Jet Energy all on this Lugia. That's a little bit extra investment that you didn't need. And we're just going to hit for 200 damage. This Dragonite will be able to live another turn. So Chris is definitely in a really great place right now. You can just hit into this Lugia, do a ton of damage, and then on the next turn Sableye and you win the game. So at this point, it really does seem like there's nothing Savi can do to try to fix the board state. He is too far behind on prize cards. If he was able to get that Tyranitar attack off into the Dragonite, I think that it would be a much better position for Savi here as well. And if he was able to get another turn off of that Tyranitar. So again, big mistake with no V-Guard on it. Unless maybe he had prized all his V-Guard, but as we can see, there is a V-Guard on this Lugia now. So there was at least one in deck he could have gotten. So Chris, using the next Chorus's experiment, he was able to find off of the Poke Gear 3.0. Chris and I's deck lists for this tournament are actually 3 cards off from each other. There was a list that we were, well, mostly he and Tori, our friend Tori, were testing going into NAIC. It was like a super turbo lost box where it played 3 trekking shoes. And going into this tournament, Chris and I both independently chose to play Lost Box. And we both took out the 3 trekking shoes from the list and just put in 3 other cards. But the cards he put in and the cards I put in are different. So he put the Pokegear in, which is a good idea. I do agree with it. But that's not what I put in. I put in a Roxanne as one of my choices. In case I did hit a mirror match, I wanted the Roxanne to be able to limit my opponent's options while still giving me a nice big new hand. We are going to see the Greninja using concealed cards, getting rid of the second lightning energy that's in the list to draw 2 more cards. We do draw a water energy. We're just going to attach to a Comfey, so we have a way to pivot that later if we need to. And I think we can just do a big hit with the Dragonite would be perfectly fine here. Sableye still lives with 20 HP remaining. The Comfey lives with 10 HP remaining. You'll love to see it. So if Savi was able to play some sort of card that would do a bunch of bench damage, that would be pretty cool. Unfortunately, there's no like Tapu Koko in the format that does Flying Flip for 20 to your whole opponent's board. That would be really sweet because we still have double turbo energy, so it would reduce the damage from the to the active by 20, so you would do 0 to the active, but you would still do 20 to the whole bench. So I think that that would be a really cool inclusion in a deck like this where you're playing double turbo energy already. And if your opponent just gets into this position, you could take 2 prize cards, just off of your opponent's already self-inflicted bench damage. And if you could move the Dragonite to the bench, maybe if you boss's orders up the Greninja, you could take actually a 4-prize turn with Flying Flip here. So that would be pretty funny, but Chris put himself into that position, and of course there's no card in the format like that, unfortunately. So we are going to see a boss's orders come down onto the Sableye, and we are going to retreat into the Yveltal. So now we can use Yveltal's first attack with the plus 40 from the 2 single strike energies to take the knockout, just hoping our opponent here, Chris, does not have the boss's orders. And of course, Chris just has the boss's orders, so he can finish off the Lugia with the Dragonite. Chris would be knocking out one of his bench Pokemon, the Comfey, because the Sableye got knocked out this turn. Which would allow Savi to take an additional prize, but he still would be left with 2 when Chris goes down to 0 prize cards remaining. So, clean game from Chris. Drew super hot. So, hopefully he just keeps at it, I guess, for the rest of the tournament. You will have to find out and see here. So, we will see you guys in the next round, round 2. And yeah, so again, league challenge, best of 1 for Swiss, and then best of 3 for it's going to be a top 2 because of the amount of players that we have for a win-a-box to try to win that box. So we will see you guys next time.